I woke up like any other Monday morning, getting ready to dig into Nintendo news for Good Morning Mario. But what I saw today made me feel like I was in a different dimension. Billy Bum Bum is coming to Switch. Spark the Electric Jester 3 is coming to Switch. Where's 1 and 2? Are those a thing? Have those existed? I would bet either way. Maybe one has, maybe one hasn't, maybe both have, maybe both haven't. We're also getting Star Wars Bounty Hunter back from the dead on Nintendo Switch, and the Volgar the Viking 2 developer wants to make us mad. So I had to pause and say, okay, there's got to be other Nintendo Switch news out there, and thankfully, I found some freaking sweet stuff like a Kirby Leak and some details on other new Switch games that I think will be a little better received than Billy Bum Bum. But good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. Hope you're all doing fantastic out there. Welcome to the Nintendo News Show, where we cover all the latest and greatest, and sometimes the weirdest, in about 10 minutes flat. Thanks so much for being here. Hit that like button if you enjoy these videos. I'm Zach. This is SwitchForce. Here we go. Harry Potter Quidditch Champions was delayed. The day they dropped their first gameplay trailer, and I was like, oh, this looks pretty good. In some weird way, it kind of reminds me of Roller Champions. Like, it has a budgety feel. It is a $30 game, but it seems like it could be multiplayer fun as long as the career mode is nifty as well. Like, this could be a valuable, worthwhile package to pick up. Comes out early September, but alas, it don't. They delayed the Switch version from a day-and-date release to late holiday 2024. When this comes out, I do not know, but given that the physical version of this game releases November 8th, I would bet November 8th is the day that the Switch version will also come out. Now, frankly, I'm getting sick and tired of this sort of thing happening. We get games that are promised day and date. They're announced like, oh, it's coming to Xbox, PC, PlayStation, and Switch. Wow! And then they get delayed. This happened to Hogwarts Legacy, so it's happened in the Wizarding world before. It's also happened to games like Marvel Midnight Suns. It's happened to Dying Light 2, and those latter two just disappeared completely. I know that Quidditch Champions will probably release. It's a smaller game. It's an eShop thing. They probably just need more time to port it, but I'm so ready for Switch 2 so we can be donezo with this delay thing just for Switch. So many times the Switch port takes more effort, more energy, more money, more time, and really, for no other reason besides that, I'm ready to move on to the next generation. Forget the fact that we're going to get 4K visuals, new 3D Mario, all sorts of games, better Joy-Con, no drift, yada yada. It's the fact that, like, dude, these games that are announced for Switch should come out the day that they're announced for and not just delayed on Switch. There's enough delays in the industry. We don't need Switch-specific delays, and yet we have a bunch of them. I bet that wraps up with Nintendo Switch 2, and goodness gracious, it would be good to do so. Let me know if you're going to grab Harry Potter Quidditch Champions for $30 when it drops on Switch sometime later this fall, and let me know you've been following up with this Monster Hunter Wilds conversation. Now, I covered this the day it dropped about how Capcom said that, Monster Hunter Wilds is made for the current technology, and currently these are the systems that can run it. They wanted to make the most impressive, technologically advanced Monster Hunter, and currently that's PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. And I really read into that, hey, this is going to be coming to Switch 2 because currently these are the three that can run it, and Switch 2 will get there eventually. Like, it's not out yet. And it seems like a good chunk of people believe the same thing, but we still have this conversation persisting that, like, why ain't Monster Hunter Wilds on Nintendo Switch 1? And I'm just very confused why this is even a conversation, why anyone believes that Monster Hunter Wilds should be on Switch 1, why they're surprised Capcom is, quote, skipping it. Dudes and dudettes and everyone in between. There's going to be a new Switch by the time this game comes out or shortly after. They're not going to put it on Switch. It doesn't mean they're leaving Nintendo in the dust. They're betraying a company that helped provide them with a lot of great bonus sales on older games and new games. It just means that it's not going to be on Switch 1. It can't run on Switch 1. This is looking to be a more dynamic game than Monster Hunter World. This is looking to be a much more future forward looking game than Monster Hunter World, and I don't even know if Monster Hunter World could have ran properly on Nintendo Switch. Monster Hunter Rise was developed specifically with Switch in mind, and so that's why that game was able to perform so excellently. Could they have done that again? Maybe, but I feel like they would have hamstrung the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series versions because it's not a last gen game. This is a current gen only title, and hey, in a year's time, Nintendo Switch 2 will be current gen. So I think this is like a whole bunch of nothing. People bothered, but I've seen so many articles like Monster Hunter Wilds not on Switch. Capcom has to explain themselves. Guys, it's going to be on Switch 2. That's the reason for all of this hubbub, and that is what's going to happen. But how about the hubbub on a new Kirby game? A very bizarre Kirby Leak dropped yesterday, and I want to see what you're thinking. It's an image of supposedly the next Kirby game, which, let's set the stage here, would make a lot of sense. Kirby kind of releases every single freaking year. We had Forgotten Land and Dream Buffet in 2022. We had the remaster in 2023. We have not yet had anything in 2024, so maybe we are due for a Kirby. Right now, it doesn't look like any Kirby is on the horizon, but they absolutely then, I think, would be back in 2025 and maybe early 2025 with a new Kirby game. Kirby is one of the most prolific franchises for Nintendo. It's a great, consistent seller, and I bet it's probably not the hardest game to develop. But this image is very bizarre because it comes from a guy that was supposedly trying to trade this information for nude photos. That is the weirdest setup for a leak that I've ever seen, and it has made some people question the entire validity of this leak because the dude clearly had, I don't know, he had some needs, or he had some wants, or he had some things that he was trying to do a little bit undercover in a very kind of weird way. And some people have pointed out that the Japanese on here is very broken and that maybe this entire thing is just a bunch of nonsense, but I do believe a Kirby game is in the near future, and I would love for there to be a follow-up to Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Now, some people are saying, hey, this just looks like a weird form of Kirby Star Allies marketing that we haven't seen. Some people are saying it could be new and building on Star Allies. Nintendo could go one of many routes to the next Kirby game, but I believe it will be a new entry. They've kind of done remasters or remakes of the games that have already been out in recent generations, and I think it's time for a new one. Kirby is popular on Nintendo Switch Online, and Kirby made himself very popular with the 3D evolution in Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I think that's the one that absolutely needs a follow-up, and I think it would be fantastic on Switch 2 because they can make the puffball look all sorts of glorious with DLSS technology and a much more powerful piece of hardware. But do you believe that this leak is actually real? I'm going to go and say that it is not. While I do believe a Kirby game is definitely in the works, and while I do believe a Kirby game is definitely not that far away, we're never too far from the next Kirby release, I think the circumstances of this leak and the fact that some of the imagery does look eerily similar to imagery from Kirby Star Allies back when that released on Nintendo Switch, and the fact that this dude was trying to trade secret Nintendo info for nudes. First of all, very desperate. Second of all, ew. Third of all, why you doing this, man? Don't put Kirby in that position. Don't make Kirby the scapegoat for your sneaky business. I bet this is probably someone that is just not really in the know. We know Nintendo has cut down on leakers extensively lately. They put Pioro out of business. They've put many other leakers into a much more limited space in terms of what they can leak. People are more afraid of leaking things. Nintendo has aggressively been going after all sorts of different people, whether they're making mods, emulators, leakers it seems as well. Nintendo does not want their stuff out there, and especially in this very dangerous time. While the Switch 2 is not official, but clearly it's in the works, clearly it's well along its way in development, production, and probably very close to eventual marketing materials, they gotta be on lockdown. So the likelihood that something from the next Kirby game popped out when even Pioro could not predict the recent Direct, I find that to be suspicious at best, but I know a new Kirby game is going to be dropping at some point in the near future. I'm excited to see what it is. Maybe we'll hear about Kirby at a September Direct. Oddly, we are quite close. We're getting to the point where we are as close to a September Direct as we are to the June Direct, and that's freaky because I feel like we just had that June Direct. Echoes of Wisdom, Mario and Luigi Brothership, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Like, didn't that just happen? The month of July has flown by, but I'm ready to enjoy August with all of you. So welcome to another great week of Nintendo stuff. I got you covered with all sorts of great games. We got some awesome stuff. I just got Steam World Heist 2. Somebody bringing you some coverage of that. I love the Steam World franchise. Very pumped for that game, and pumped to see World of Goo 2 later this week as well. Let me know what you're pumped for in the comments down below, and if you're going to pick up Harry Potter, if you'd pick up a new Kirby, and if you believe me that Monster Hunter Wilds will indeed release on Nintendo, but Switch 2 and not Switch 1. Anyways, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button if you enjoy these videos. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.